So I titled this video, Anger is a Sign That You're Coming Back to Yourself, because over the past few days, something I've noticed about myself is that I have started to get a lot more angry and at a quicker rate than I usually do. And it's actually the best thing that's ever happened to me. And anger is okay. You like slamming someone and punching them because of your anger is not okay. So that's like the difference between the actual emotion of anger and the reaction. And so I kind of like have comprised a list of, I wanted to go by functional and dysfunctional because there was a few things I could have used when it comes to describing like healthy anger versus unhealthy. I was thinking about using healthy and unhealthy, and then I thought about constructive and destructive, but I like functional and dysfunctional the best because anger serves a purpose, it serves a function. And so when we learn what that function is and we remove the negative associations we have with anger, we can actually use this emotion for what it is and channel it in a way that's productive, because anger is a sign that you're getting closer to yourself and that you're healing actually. And you shouldn't shame yourself for feeling anger. If you're feeling anger, especially if it's like welling up in the mist or in the heat of the moment when the situation is happening, that's actually amazing. Like, that's actually a good sign. It's a sign that you're healing and that you're becoming more in touch and in tune with yourself. Because like, I'm literally like more happier than I've ever been, and that's not to say that I'm like even happy, but I'm happier and in a better place than I've ever been, and yet I'm experiencing more anger. So it's like, why is that? And that's because anger is self-protection. It's a sign and a signal coming from our body that something isn't right, or that your boundaries have been violated, or that something isn't up to your standard. The way someone treated you or something someone did is not up to your standard. That's your body's alarm system, essentially telling you this is not okay for me. And the fact that you're feeling that immediately is great. So I basically made a list of functional and dysfunctional anger, and this isn't rocket science. It's very easy. It's very easy to understand what functional versus dysfunctional is. But functional anger, first of all, if anger doesn't propel you towards some type of action, then it's probably going to be dysfunctional, because anger is alerting you of what needs to be changed. And so I said dysfunctional anger is bottled up inside and turned inwards. So that's like for the people who don't immediately express their anger. This is for the people who don't immediately express their anger. And there can be so many reasons for this. Like, I was this person too, so I get this one the most. Like, if you grew up in a household where when you showed anger, you were punished or beaten or just abused in any way, things like that, then you probably have this response sometimes where the anger is actually turned inwards. And that examples of that can be self-harm, or just even like bubbling in your stomach, or just like holding it into the point where you're feeling it in your body, as opposed to actually expressing it and taking an action towards changing what the cause of the anger was. So I also said functional anger is usually immediate. Like, usually healthy anger is going to show up in the moment when the thing or person or situation that is making you angry, when that thing is actually happening. Dysfunctional anger, though, is going to be delayed or passive. So it's going to be kind of stored inside of you. It's not going to be expressed. You're not going to take any action on that anger because you don't know how to do that, or you think that like anger is just a bad emotion and you kind of push it down. The next thing I said for functional anger is that it is fueled by self-respect and personal boundaries for yourself. And then dysfunctional anger, it fuels disrespect and violates boundaries of others around you. So, for example, like obviously someone being violent, or even like name calling of someone, just actions that you're kind of like where you're not in control of yourself, like slamming something or acting out of character because of your anger. That would all fall under the disrespect and violation of others' boundaries. But anger in its purest form is about self-protection, protective of self. It's not about lashing out at other people. It's about protection of self. And those two things can feel and seem very similar. I think that's where a lot of people mess up at, is like they think that protecting themselves equals lashing out at others, and that's not true. You can 100% protect yourself and stand up for yourself and protect your boundaries and establish boundaries without it being an attack on other people. So I would say that like anger in its most functional and healthy form is about love for the self and protection of the self, as opposed to battling others and others being the enemy. Because when you hold on to anger, like it only hurts you. So like when you hold on to it, like that anger, it's actually completely missing the point of what that emotion was meant for. Anger is a fiery emotion. It's meant to push things outward. It's meant to change things. It's actually a gift. But if you're using it in destructive ways to tear yourself down or to tear others down, that's when it becomes destructive. And when you attach negative labels to it, like anger is bad or you feel guilty for being angry, that is also when you're kind of like you're going down, because you're not using anger in the way that God intended anger to be used. So that's all I really have to say about anger, because I just realized like I've been getting a lot better, because I was the person that something would make me angry that was happening in my immediate environment, and I would see something, feel like something inside of my body, not even realize it was anger, and then for the rest of the day I'd be in a bad mood. That was maybe like a while ago. Like I feel like I don't really do that anymore, but now it's like things are happening and I'm getting angry immediately, and it's actually insane. And I was like, wait, this feels really good, like I like this. And then the second phase I feel like that I went through, and maybe a lot of people go through, is like, okay, you're conscious of this anger now, like it's not just being stored inside your body, but instead of like taking action toward that anger and being assertive, like maybe that looks like having a conversation with somebody saying, hey, you did X, Y, and Z. Maybe it looks like making plans, future plans, so this thing that made you angry doesn't happen again. It could look like a lot of different things, but it's always going to be constructive action. But the second phase of this of anger, I feel like, in processing it and expressing it, is okay, I feel this anger, but I'm gonna like hold a grudge about it, or I'm going to just harbor it and not do anything with it. That's like the second stage, where you're still not using your anger correctly. The third and final stage of anger is when you use it to propel you toward action, preferably immediate action, because anger is your alarm system. Your body is screaming at you and it has to come out, and it's good. Anger should be coming out, and it should be coming up when something is wrong, and it's natural. And so that's literally all anger is. When you feel it, use it. Say, how am I going to change this? Because I don't like this. I don't fuck with this. And like, how am I going to change this? And that's it. Beautiful. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.